Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Level Up Live. This is Stephen Malin, music composer for the screen, helping you to build a music business that supports your family. I'm excited today because we are working with composer Srikant Krishna, who writes a lot of epic trailer music. And so today we're going to be really focusing on how to produce and make that style sound bigger than life and to really bring home this huge, enormous sound. So as many of you know, this is a crazy time for everybody, as especially those of you with families. You know what it's like just having a lot of kiddos at home and trying to make space and time to do streams like this. So I know our time is ever changing and it's hard to be consistent, but I'm at least staying consistent to every Tuesday. So the time might change, but if you'd like to be notified of when these streams happen, make sure you hit the little bell notification on YouTube. And of course, you can always follow me on social media where I keep everybody up to date there. So I'm excited to dive in for the next hour or so, working with Srikant. So if you're here in the chat, let me know who's here. Give me a little elbow cough or a little dab. You know what I'm talking about. You know what it looks like. That's, I guess, YouTube's coronavirus emoji. Get the closest thing to it. So we're going to have a lot of fun here as we're diving in and really just talking about how to make things sound huge. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm hanging out here in Shabam. Let me get my buttons right. Hanging out in Cubase today. So Srikant is working on a track called Dominance. And this thing will definitely fit right at home with any production music library. And hey, Srikant is here in the live chat. So glad to have you here. So of course, as we're going through this process, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or even just, hey, you know, an attaboy, a little word of encouragement, I appreciate it as we're diving in here today. And something I want to try moving forward is as we do these live streams, I need your help by hitting that little like button. I know it may not seem like a big deal, but when you hit that little like button, I want us to start getting about 100 of these. That's the goal, 100 likes every time we do a live stream, because that is going to allow YouTube to share that with other people who otherwise would not know about my channel. And we do a lot of cool stuff here. So I hope that you'll take a second and smash the button. Show some love. Nice. All right, guys, let's do it. So the first thing I hear with this track, it's already very well produced. So great job, Srikant. I think that we're going to have a lot of fun with this one. I think the first thing my ear gravitates towards are these string samples. More than anything, I feel like your drones and your the big hits and those types of the big sounds, those are actually really solid and they help to sell the track. But I feel like the actual orchestral instruments are a little lacking. So that's the first thing I want to do here. I think it's gonna be a pretty easy fix. I want to find within your MIDI channels, which is, let me mute the master track there. That way we know what we're working with. There we go. Yeah, so our levels are pretty darn low. I want to make sure we're good to work with these. So the first thing I want to do, I want to open up, I took all the MIDI information and put it into this folder here. That way we can kind of sort through what's going on. And I want to find some of these string sounds, which I'm assuming is, if I were to solo some of this out, we have strings high. It's this thing. Pretty good. I like the low strings. I think those are nice and beefy. But this high string bit, I think that's the first thing we got to work on. So I'm going to mute that entire stem, which is the WAV file. And I want to go to what I'm hearing here. So we have this string passage. So what I want to do is take just the MIDI file, and I want to create two different instruments here. The first one is going to be a legato patch. Let's see where it went. There it is. So we'll just call it strings legato, and then I'll make another one strings short. Something I do pretty regularly is I like to have a separate patch for each. So the strings that are long, let's find a nice wet beautiful sound. So a lot of times I like to mix sounds. So I think with something epic and huge like this, we gotta mix a couple things. First thing I want to mix is going to be Adagio. Let's get their Adagio Strings. Let's just grab the ensemble. And let's grab, if it'll load. It's the one issue with Contact that I have is on this quick load. When you start putting hundreds of samples on here, it can slow down when you get to the actual sample folder. See that? How it's like taking forever to load. Some other sections don't like mess up, but it's like right there. Come on, you can do it. There it is. And the patches have no issue loading. And it's just that one thing. But anyway, I'm gonna take some 8DO and I want to mix that with another soft patch. So let's turn the far mics on, drag them down, turn the volume up. And then I also want to mix that with, let's get some Spitfire Lo Egria, which is a softer British type sound. And I really like their legato strings there because they're going to help fill in the gaps. It's going to be good. So for this one, let's also crank the volume up. And by turning up the volume, it's going to be less than 0. So we're going to turn on close mics, turn them down. And then let's do the, let's just do the long patches here. I think that's going to be nice. So you can kind of hear it real quick. If I just find that MIDI region, I know it's kind of hiding in here, but let's take that, let's drag it down. Looks like it's like directly on this measure 12. Might just have to copy and paste so I don't lose it, because there's so much going on here. There we go. So go way down here. There it is. All right, so that is if I just solo the 8DO. Here's what it sounds like. And if we do just the whatchamacallit, the Albion. So I can tell he used some expression here, which is, you know, the mod wheel, but I feel like it's a little off. So let's go, instead of doing the expression wheel, let's just do the mod wheel, which is right here. So let me grab that so you can see what's going on here. Something like that, right? So he's saying that this is an octave too low, so let's bump it up. Something like that. Let's pump the mod wheel in. Here we go. There it is. Now you can see a very nice clean curve that I just made. Makes a huge difference. And we can merge those two things together, make sure that it plays. So here it is. Now it's still a little too dry, so I'm going to take that patch, go over to my left screen here, and I want to throw on some 2C Aether. That's not what I chose. Whoops. Let's do 2C Aether, which is reverb. Very nice convolution reverb with orchestral halls in it. Do hall 2, do a mix of like 20. Here's what it sounds like with it. There we go. In context. Now one of the issues is the mix itself is really lacking. No fault of Srikant's, but it has to do with all the volumes being really low. And I might keep the original, just turn it down. So I just went to that track and turned it down like 3 dB from the original volume. What's up, Gavin? Glad you can make a stream. It's gonna be really nice in the midst of all that. And I want to see what other string samples are kind of hiding in here, because we have a lot of stems. So like violin legato, let's copy that one as well. And we could just throw him in the mix. It won't be an issue. And what I'm going to do is just merge those tracks together. And so now here's the whole blob. Aha, here's the issue. The track that I merged, the expression has all these weird curves in it. I don't want that. I want to keep one expression, which is the module that I used. I want to merge that all together. It seems as though those are the exact same notes, and maybe that's what he was referring to as the octave higher, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. Because part of enhancing is sometimes just adding more depth, adding more layers. So in this situation, I'm not gonna like delete what he originally wrote. Let's see if there's any others. I really like the low stuff, so I think that's going to be fine. That was the big legato moment I wanted to hit, because that's a big melody, you know? Let's go back to the master and hear where the other spots are. I think that was like the only big one. Now I wanted to address the short strings issue. So it looks like it's really just the violas. So I'm going to take these two tracks. Let's copy everything, but only on those two tracks. Quick, easy way to do that is just to merge everything like that. Copy. And I will make, for the sake of simplicity, because he has two tracks, I will duplicate it, but I usually like to use just one track per instrument section. That way it's a little easier to mix, but oh well. I want to use what he has. So here we are. I'm going to solo all my strings, and let's create a nice little multi here using some short strings. And while that's loading, I just want to remind you guys, help me get this video to 100 likes. So when you pop in, hit that like button, please. That'll help this video be shared to other people. Bring more peoples into the fun. All right, so I'm gonna go to Ensemble Strings. For this one, I'm gonna mix a few different things. The first thing is, since we're really going to the shorts category, I wanna make sure that we're using really, really short notes. So spiccato is really the word for that. It's this guy right here. And if I'm chugging water today, it's because my throat hurts. Because pollen's the devil. Really, really is. Man, I'm so glad that a lot of you guys can make the stream, because you normally can't because of your work schedules. So this is kind of cool. That's one of the benefits to this season, is there are more people who can be a part of the fun. So I do these every Tuesday. I try to keep them around the same time, around this lunch hour in my time. Sometimes I have to do them at night. All right, so here is an Ensembles Picado. So this patch has a really cool speed knob, which compresses the attacks, which makes it a little bit less realistic, but it makes it very precise in its timings. So if I just solo this one MIDI region, it sounds like this. So we gotta like make this thing way, way, way more real. Yeah, that sounds like trash to me. And I think it's because the ensemble patch is using cello as well. So we do need to just grab some individual sections. So I'm going to just continue with the viola vibe here. Let's try that. Nah. I think this is, I've had this conversation before with you guys, but I feel like there are certain samples that just are better for certain uses, and I don't love using the East-West play engine very much, but there are a few, it's like a handful of sounds that I think that they really nailed back in the day that I've yet to find anyone else top. So I'm looking for the viola section, and this staccato round robin is really good. Sounds very realistic. Yeah, there it is. I think part of the issue is the expression. I just don't like messing with expression when it has to deal with... I feel like the orchestration needs to solve what we're doing. Let's take a look at that. So I think it's really solid. I do want to mix that, however. I want to see if I can mix that with maybe the short script, which is another really, really short viola sound. Cool. I'll take that. Let's do the exact same thing with this second patch. Not to get too long-winded here, but the idea is, whoops. I want to take the MIDI region from number 2 and drag it up. Quick and dirty way of doing that. That way it's the same patch. If they sound like together. Yeah, there's no way I'm doing that. It looks like these are just octaves. Oh crap, you can't see that. Sorry guys. There you go. So I just took the two and merged them together because they're just octaves. There's no sense in like spreading those out or whatever. So I am just going to call it one track, strings short. Sounds like this. I like it. I feel like this expression curve is so extreme. I like extreme, but I feel like we just need to maybe draw that in a little bit more linearly than exponential. Cool. I think it's going to help dramatically. What the heck is that? Oh, I know what happened. That's really funny. I think I left a tempo change in there. Yep. That was an accident from earlier. I'm like, why did they just double time? That sounds so bad. There we go. All right, the only thing I want to do with that is I want to pan it to the left. So in my mixing window, where are you? There we are. In my strings, I want to take this little center knob and I want to make it go right just a little bit. Actually, no, let's go left because they're technically second violins and violas, which actually gives me an idea. I want to take the strings. Let's add one more patch in here to really thicken it up even more. Let's take the large violin section and add one of these really short patches, just add it on top. It's going to help even more. I got a really important question from Masked Sound. Welcome to the stream. I want to show you guys something real quick. I get this question a lot. It's actually just had some Google Analytics today, which I think is really fascinating, saying that on my website, this is the most viewed page, like 5,000x more than my other pages. Isn't that crazy? So I'm going to be doubling down on this topic a whole lot more, but it's the topic of sample instruments. What do I use? So right here, if you go to my website, stephenmalin.com, under the tools section, there's lots of yummy freebies here. One of them is best sample instruments and plugins. I just updated this actually a few days ago to contain all of my favorite budget instruments from every single category. So for example, the question was, what string libraries do I use? Then go down here to strings, it'll jump to that section. And then it has, when applicable, I have a review of it that I've done. I have some cool links here, a lot of discounts. So definitely check that out. I think that's going to be super duper valuable for you guys. And this is something I'm going to continue to update so long as I'm on YouTube, because I think it's super valuable for you guys. So yeah, I'll even really quick, I'll pump that link in the chat if that's helpful for you guys. Great question. Masked sound. Appreciate the question. All right, cool. Let's jump back into it. So what I was doing over here is I was taking these strings and I added the second violins, and then I panned the strings to the left a little bit. I wanted to look back in the mix, and I wanted to see if there are any other short strings that I should be aware of. And it looks like maybe in the second half there are. There they are. Cool. So I want to make sure that I grab those. Hiding over here. Let's copy. Let's paste that into my strings at the bottom. I mean, what a difference. Let me mute mine and listen to the original. Now with mine added. I think that's a significant difference. And of course, as we continue to mix everything up to the right levels, it's going to help even more. The other item that I feel like throughout the track is a little bit weaker than the rest are brass blasts. So I'm going to grab the contact patch here, and I feel like this is a very important staple sound of trailer music. So I'm going to call this Monster Brass. That's the patch from Cinebrass Pro. Over here, it's the Monster Low Brass articulations. This thing is absolutely incredible. It's kind of the most identifiable trailer sound there is. Let's grab it. Like, just do some octaves. Literally out of the box. It's pretty incredible. And Masked Sound asks, I understand a lot of libraries are pre-panned. Do you still pan them to widen the stereo field even more? Yes, I do. Not always, but it kind of depends. But in this situation, I feel like we really need to get some of these low. The other alternative, let me actually explore the alternative first. It might be a better suggestion here. They're called Brahms, which are brass blasts, but they also add, they're super synthesized, and they sound like trailer music. Here's a free resource for you guys. If you go to Ava Instinct, it's a production library company and education source. If you want to learn how to write for trailer music, I am not affiliated with them. They're just good people. They make good stuff. They have a free sample library pack called Ava Instinct, which is it's a collection of wave samples that you can actually take and create your own context sample, as I have done here by dragging them in and kind of doing your own thing. So I've made my own. They're much more produced, but they also get the point across that it's trailer music. There's that, Ava Instinct. I will likely be using that just because it's very produced. So it's called Ava Instinct. There's another one. I've actually just searched the web for royalty-free Brahms and made my own little collection here. So let me, because I do write trailers. I have three collections of those because they're everywhere. Gonna really hit. Gotta be careful with Brahms though, because they take up a lot of space in your frequency, like in your mix. So use them very sparingly on big hits. So let's find the big hit spots, like there. Notice it's not on every single one, but it's only 4. But each of those 4 has a huge impact. I'll turn it down a little bit in my mix. So that was the one huge thing I wanted to fix. Now let's just go through. I'm going to close the MIDI so we can actually see what the heck's going on. And before I move forward, I want to just very quickly do a quick mix. So in order to do this, I'm gonna do something different today, guys. I've never done this. I'm gonna create a new scene. So look at my pretty face for a second. Let's see, left screen plus, right screen small. I've never done this, but I think this might be really valuable for you guys. Let's see if I can lock this on here for a second. I don't know. Whatever, you can watch me do it, I don't care. All I'm doing, you can hear me at least, I'm taking my right screen, I want to make it really small. I've never tried squeezing these together. It's gonna look kind of cool, I hope. Is this useful for you guys? Check it out. You'll see it in a second. But there we go. But the idea is you can still see like my mixing window while I do the other. I think that'd be cool. That way I can kind of stay in this left pane for a while. But yeah, let's start bringing up levels as much as I can to try to match a solid mix, and then we'll go from there. Cool. So let me move this down for a sec. I want to add in an ultra maximizer because we're working with some pretty low level or low volume stems. It's not too big of a deal. Whoops, I did that backwards. Set my out ceiling to -0.1. Let's do a -6 dB increase. I'll throw on Ozone at the end to replace that, but for now, it just lets us all hear things better. Now we're making magic. This is a really cool intro with the pad, but I really want to try to bump this up a lot. 2 ways to do that. First, let's EQ it to really get the right frequency space. And then I'm going to do the same L1 maximizer. That way we don't peak anywhere. It's probably my most used plugin ever. Let's crank that up a lot, probably -4. There we go. Good morning, Brahms. But you get my point that it's huge. Oh yeah. Let me go over to this sub. I want to keep the volume boost in there, but I also want to do an EQ where I get rid of all the high end. That way it really sells right in that spot. should see it, right? Also love this like electric violin type thing. Okay, let's give the same treatment to the synth bass. Let's really keep him in his lane. And when you keep things in their lane, you can actually boost them a lot. Cool. You guys say it's clipping a little bit. Let me turn down my streaming audio just a hair. It's not clipping for me. That's one of the dangers of streaming. I'm working with 3 different audio sources, so I drag it down by 1 dB. That might help a little bit. Let me know if it happens again. I'd love to know that. And you're saying it's hard to hear my voice, probably because my audio is so loud. Let me go down to -3 dB. Hopefully that helps. All right, I think these are really solid percussion choices that Srikant used. But we got to tame them up a little bit, tame them down. Let's do one at a time. So it's kind of a low sound. That really doesn't need too much high end to get that thud. So let's crank it up a bunch. It sounds to me, it may have just been a bouncing issue. It sounds like it's swinging one side too heavy. So I'm going to take a little S1 imager. I want to shuffle it to the left. Trying to widen the width. Much nicer. And now it's too loud. Sorry if I broke your ears. Because now it's in the right spot. It's so thick and juicy. Love it. Let's layer that with the next perk. So percussion is all about EQ. If you learn nothing else from today. This sounds very high frequency to me. Because if you use everything all the time at every frequency level, then you're gonna, it's gonna sound like garbage. We just want these little sticks. Doesn't really matter how it sounds by itself, is in the context. Oh, my bad. This is a mid-range, not a high-end. So let's find it. So there's no real process here except to listen for where it fits, for lack of a better term. Let's go over to the third one. Kind of like little effects. These are all the high end, like the metallics. Let's turn that up. Okay, with the pads and the synth bass. Heck, let's just do the whole thing. I think it's really cool. What do you guys think? Is it working? Something speaking is the. Let's find who that is. I like that damage loop. That's fine where it is. Still somebody. Cool. Let's give the same treatment to the brass. That's a really good brass. Writing. Good job. So instead of giving me a volume boost, we need a compressor. So for this guy, let's kind of tame him down a little bit. Let's do the Pro C, which is a compressor. He needs a lot of love. This is worth taking the moment. Kind of hear out spikes. It's that expression. It's that expression wheel that I don't love. It's a little bit cleaner. There we go. That'll do. All right, who's smacking over here? Aha, it's my low perk. Of all things, it's just too much volume coming out of that one little guy. You couldn't tell when it was by itself, but in the mix it starts to peak. It's also probably this riser. Found it. It's the hits and bangs. So this thing needs two things. Let's actually try it. I like the frequency. Let's try a compressor first and see if that solves it by just lighting up the threshold and ratio. What that does is it cuts down on the volume and it keeps it from peaking. So once you compress, which kind of squishes all the volumes together, you can always do an output boost at the end to help get some of the volume back that you crushed. Yeah, it's a very challenging patch. So let's do an EQ after that to help carve out even more what we're really trying to do with this patch. This kind of has everything combined, which I don't love. It's just causing a lot of that grit. There we go. It's a beautiful piano. Compress those. So I like the risers. It's just taking up a lot of space, so let's carve out the mids, keep the lows and the highs with a little bit of a cut. I just did that there. That's what it looks like. Cool. Solve that moment. There we go. There's a clean release. In this thing. Before I do that, let's take a 1-minute stretch break. Let's listen to what we have from the top. I'll be right back. Enjoy. All right, cool. I think we are off to a very good start. It's sounding very full and very rich. I think this is well on its way. Love to know what thoughts you guys have. And if perhaps you're just joining in or you just popped in over the last few minutes, help us out. Hit the thumbs up button, hit that like button. It helps share this video with others when it's on the replay. So let's get back into it. I feel like we need some more brass, some low end. Something in that vein. Let me turn it down a little bit. It's a big stream. Some of these heavier moments. So much. So I'm just riding this Cinebrass Pro. Riding with the mod wheel over here, and that helps so much. And perhaps I should try something else, guys, while I take my little right screen doodaddy like that, and let's pop him over to... I'm trying all kinds of things, guys. I'm gonna try keys plus right screen. That could be kind of fun. There it is. Cool. Is that helpful for you guys, just to kind of have a better sense of where the heck we are with all this? Sounds like it. Maybe I can make it like a little bigger, just to help a little bit. It's a very small screen, small real estate here. Oh well. Let's get back to it, folks. I'm clicking lots of buttons right now. All right. We can sort of see where we are. Excuse me. I'm trying to say bye, Chance. Bye, Chance. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, this totally needs the brass. Do 2-bar long swell. And that's also a really good spot to put some kind of big perk. So that's where I wanted to have Ava Instinct present in all of this. Like that. We need something. How about just a big old whack? I think it helps. Probably too loud. So I think I need to do the exact same thing that we did a second ago with this. Let me get it. This one. I want to take a compressor to that. It's probably the exact same compressor as we did on the other low stuff. Let me find it. The hits and bangs. I think it really needs it. That way we can solve these big old whacks, but they don't take over all of the headroom. See that? So much better. Yep, cool. It's really nice. Piano needs some more reverb to make it more dreamy, because it's totally a dreamy trailer sound. I think it's nice. We add some 2C Aether to that. Same exact one, about the same percentage will be fine. There it is. Feel the difference? Man, listen to that. That's so nice. So let me find the piano again. So here's piano without reverb. Now with it. There's some nice little twinklies in the background I want to find. There it is, this little synth arp guy. It's quite nice. Alright, so I'm going to make a separate track because these are just totally different. I'll call this synth arp soft. And this one we'll call synth arp hard. So what I'm trying to do is just isolate the soft one, which is this guy. And let's take that and let's really play with it by first of all making it high range only, and then of course boosting the junk out of it. It's quite nice. Ooh, okay, shape those out. So in this instance, I wish we had separate tracks to work with, but it's okay. Good enough. So you merge that with the piano. Sounds like this. I like the strings in the background. This thing needs some serious EQ. It sounds like this is a very different synth bass than the beginning synth bass. So we're going to call this synth bass 2. Get rid of the old. That way it's its own thing, because this is going to require completely different EQ than the other one. Because I love this stuff. There's actually not a low end at all. All right. Put that in context. Let's listen to that section. That's super cool. All right, guys, so I'm going to try to wrap this up quite shortly here. There's really not much else to do. It's sounding really, really solid. I love this end. I think it makes a big difference taking the taking this guy over here and, you know, having two separate. So I'm going to do a couple mixed things here for the next few minutes, starting with an ozone layer on the master channel. I'll turn my mic off for a few minutes just so we can blaze through this. If you have questions, let me know, and we'll kind of finish the thing out. This is something that I want to make sure that I have a limiter on, but set to -0.1. I'm going to set it after ozone. So that's kind of what I'm doing over here. And ozone is going to really help compress and maximize to make this thing sound really, really epic. And the last thing I want to add, even before ozone actually, is to put over the top, which is OTT. It's a free plugin you guys can grab. And I just realized you can't see that at the moment. There we go. There we go. So OTT is called over the top. I want to take this sucker and start playing around with it to get the most epic sound possible. So I want to do boost the lows, get rid of some mids, boost the highs. Depth, we really don't need a ton, maybe like 20% or something. But it's a multi-band upwards and downwards compressor. So this thing all by itself is going to do a lot. Amazing, so good. So let's mix that with ozone here. Yeah. Here we go. So we got a question real quick. When you produce, this is from Srikant. When you produce, do you process each track separately or a group of similar tracks together in a bus VCA? It just depends, honestly. I think in a situation like this, when we have a bunch of stims to work with, it's not a huge deal for me to go through and group stuff together because there's not a lot of tracks. I just kind of go up and down. I think in a live mix setting, that's absolutely crucial to have, you know, like all vocals as one or all instruments as one, that kind of thing. But I think in a DAW like this, it's not that big of a deal. But here we are over with Ozone. Check this out. I'm going to go to my presets. I want to grab something that's really fat. So let's try enhanced stereo image. It's going to help a lot. And I'll also add a couple things here like compression. And yep, we got baby crying, so I got to hurry this up. This is my life now. Let me turn my mic off and I'll just do a couple things and we'll be done here. to sound really good. Let's keep going. Over here in the left screen. Okay, so as we finish up here, I feel like it's starting to sound really fat and large and dynamic, which is exactly what we want. The one thing that's missing is sometimes when you throw these mastering plugins on, they can do a little bit too much damage with dynamics and with compression. So I want to tweak the compression to not be so extreme. That way there's a little bit more life and air in this, and then I feel like it's going to be ready to go. So let me tweak with that for a sec. Cool. I think it sounds fantastic. Wonderful job, Srikant, for writing a really cool track, a really great composition, and I'm happy to help out produce this thing. It's a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for being a part of the stream today. That's all we have time for. It's been an enjoyable hour. A quick reminder, hit that like button if you like this video. If you want more content like this, we do live streams every Tuesday. When the video pops back up as a replay on YouTube, please leave a comment. It's always super helpful. And I appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm super active in the comments of all of my videos, and I appreciate you guys. So let's play out the final track. This is Dominance by Srikant Krishna, the Level Up Live version. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Enjoy.